You'll hear it. Yeah, get in. We're live. You were there waiting. Great. I don't even know how that happened. Yeah, sure did. I'm sure I just unplugged it. Look at that. I'm just trying to screw myself over. Hey, welcome. Hey, there's Greg Schneider. I can hear you. I hope he's gonna still be. I hope he wasn't texting me to tell me he couldn't make it.
Probably texting you to tell you that he can hear you through the Facebook. But everybody can hear it.
So for YouTube, yep, that's perfect. You like that? Yeah, that gets the whole table. All right, can you hear me? Yep. You hear it? All right. You can hear me. What? I can hear me. You can't even hear yourself, huh? All right, so everybody, we're live from Old Homestead. Get this out of here. Randy, if we decide that we're gonna, it's really kind of cool. We're just hanging out. Hang out with us here. Hang out with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Right? God, that smells good.
That's good.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me, Smalls. Perfect. Spread them out. This one here, this one here. Where's the third one? Hey, wait, there's supposed to be one more. Where'd it go? I mean, all four of them. What? No, there's one more. There's 4 microphones.
There's 2 fuzzies.
Yeah, there's two, but there's supposed to be 3 of those.
Yeah.
Where did the one go? Oh, no. I mean, seriously, come on.
You got one on you somewhere because I've been picking you up as you're walking around talking.
No, but that's for this.
Oh, okay.
You guys, I mean, how does it disappear? Oh, I must have just shoved it in the, I bet you I just shoved it in the thing. Now, what would be really nice is if I did that, it'd just be on the top. But God forbid that's not how this works, right? I don't want to dump this all out. Woo! Can you guys? No, here. Yep, there it is.
I'm just...
Look, I actually shoved them. Oh, you're showing people on Facebook?
So a view from the top balcony. The picture that is on the page for today's podcast is this building to the left. That is
all right.
Brewing part of the distillery.
All right.
This balcony's pretty
Ready
sweet.
to go.
Goes all the way.
10-4.
And there's a bottom balcony. No.
Am I in there now? You could see me?
And over there,
all right.
If you could go over about another inch or 2 would be better.
What about there?
Yeah, that one's in more than you are.
How's that? They'll have to probably get in anyways.
Should stay here. The silos would probably be the neatest experience.
Oh.
Here where we're at, where the hotel is.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm in there as long as I'm not. So now we're just waiting for our guests. We probably need some glassware.
Yep.
What?
He's got some plastic cups downstairs.
Yeah, we're live from Old Homestead. We're just ready to go. We're up at the moment. I'll just hang out, keep everybody entertained, waiting for Alan. This is kind of like waiting for a politician to come to the microphone, or a sports guy, right? Where everybody's kind of like milling around and wait, we're like C-SPAN.
Something.
Or a vote in Congress. Well, I'll just hang.
I'm gonna go off camera and enjoy my cigar while I'm waiting.
Yes. Oh, I brought my cutter and my lighter. Finally got enough. I bought a 6-pack of butane lighter fluid and got them babies finally working.
Yeah.
That you need to like to get them jump started. You really need to fill them.
Yeah.
There's always the story about when I I can't text anybody. I wonder what Greg said. We're live. I can't. You're going to be the monitor of the comments, not on
I am.
YouTube, but on Facebook.
Yep. I got it right here.
And perfect. Everybody's mic'd. Woo!
What's up?
We're set up.
Fucking hands are freezing.
You have to ask Jolie what's what.
Frozen.
What's going on?
Hey, you know there's no smoking out here, right? I'm just fucking with you.
I was gonna say.
We are live, just so you know.
Oh, well.
Say hi, Alan.
Yeah.
We're live on Facebook and YouTube. We figure this is similar to like waiting for a C-SPAN, kind of waiting for somebody to show up.
Yeah.
Waiting. We'll get it going.
Whenever you want to do something, let me know. So.
It's ready. We're ready to record audio as soon as we sit down and we start to go.
Great. She should be up in a minute. I don't know if Heather and Steve are jumping in on this or not. They're here, so.
If they want.
Yeah. Tyler's going to come up in a little bit. So.
Maybe what we could do is just put 2 more back there and we kind of just,
Yeah.
It's the actual visual is pretty good with that in the background, and there's just the way the light is.
Yeah. I shared it across all my stuff too, so.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll have a decent little audience.
Well, lately, pretty much all of them are getting about on Facebook about 10,500,
That's pretty good.
and that go twice a week. That's 20,000 on Facebook.
Making that Zuckerberg money.
Yeah, whatever.
Just don't be saying no silly shit on there.
No, you can't. I behave.
Now.
I behave on camera.
Now.
Oh, I used to not.
Where's Amzie at? We can fix this problem.
He's coming on the bus tour this year. That's gonna be.
No, you mean the bus tour's coming on him.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw exactly what you did.
Oh,
Oh, I think he's bringing Destiny to keep him under control a little bit.
She'll do that. She's good at that.
Well, yeah, he just behaves a little bit more.
Yes. We're introducing 50 ml bottles just for Amzie. We're calling them adventure bottles. They're made out of plastic so you don't break them. So you can have a pocket full of them and go on adventures.
You mean
dear God.
like mud fossil hunting?
That's right. So does that look like a cave? I don't know. If you got alcohol, go. Yeah, pocket full of adventure bottles.
Adventure bottles. It should be Amzie dressed up like Indiana Jones.
Just get it. We'll just get a sunshine bottle suit so he can wear that thing. You know what I mean?
Say, or like a holster, or like a bullet holster. Just put the
Yeah,
bottles in.
that's a great idea.
Make it look like he's in like what's the Commando movie? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
When he's got that belt.
I told him that we could do a bucket and it'd be like the KFC $5 bucket or whatever, but it's the $40 bucket. Yeah. Or the 40 bottle. Yeah.
You want it like yeah, but and then in the holidays you could do like what Fireball just do plastic candy canes full.
Yeah. But the bucket's a great idea because then when you get done, you can just puke in the bucket.
It's exactly. You're ready to go. Oh, this tastes like cinnamon and butterscotch at the same time.
Ooh.
Where you want me at? Doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah. Just move back a little.
Yes, guys are like really specific. So,
Me specific?
what's this thing?
Microphones.
That is?
Yep, that's the 2 there are for Facebook, the other 2 are for YouTube, and these 3 are for audio.
Where'd you get those?
The internet, you just internet it. Amazon. Here.
I was on the whale of an internet.
What's happening?
We're
Okay.
live,
doing
just
here?
so you know. We're
Right
already
now?
live. We're live, Facebook and YouTube. We're not doing we're not doing it yet, but we're.
You know how this works. It's just chaos.
Steve and Heather are coming up.
Okay, so we
So
got one for
there's-
you, and then just put two. Let's put it two, and we'll kind of like get into a circle group thing.
Did you grab 9 herb? Or you need me to go back and get it? Or?
No, Steve's bringing it back up.
Thank you. We were just talking about adventure bottles for AMSI, and we came up with the idea. Well, CJ came up with you know my bucket idea and my fanny pack idea. He has a better idea. You do like one of those ammo straps, right? So that you can actually
Instead of shotgun shells, you put 50 ml bottles in.
It's gonna be phenomenal. Then we can dress AMSI up. We can get a bottle like design like
Yeah,
a
throw me
suit
one.
like you see like
What?
Prime Water has. Dress AMSI up.
I want to get like the t-shirt cannons, and then we could just be like
We can do it off
50
the balcony.
milliliters.
Do it off the pier.
All right.
Hit some people
Right.
boating. Hey, free T-shirts.
I keep pushing for like everything needs like you need like Guinness Book of World Records or whatever. So my thought was, you just take all the pallets from the facility and you have the world's largest pallet bonfire on the lake.
Would have moved.
Steve and Heather are coming up.
Yeah,
and I
so-
would like them to be a part of things. So
Let's-
I don't know how
We're
we
gonna.
can.
I'm gonna pull.
So
two
let's
back
do it.
there.
Let's go like.
So you don't have to bring that one. We'll just.
But you have 2 other people coming up plus me.
Right.
So let's. You know what we could do is we could rotate this, and then put us on each side of it.
Okay, let's do that.
Just make everything complicated.
Well, I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
You know, there are 2 types of people, so you're aware.
Oh, there's 2 tables there.
Oh, there's 2 tables here.
So are you talking about putting the cameras down there, Jeff?
So when we
What?
rotate, we're gonna.
No, I'm talking
Either do it
about
as
go
one
this
big
and you sit
unit or-
like this. Oh yeah,
Probably
wait,
one at a
we
time.
could move the cameras. Let's leave this alone.
Yeah, just put it at the angle, and then we can move like this, and then
Great.
Oh, okay.
and you can still get the from a corner, like a corner shot. And then that one last chair can go over here, and we should be good.
Good idea, Julie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does that work?
See, I turned over a new leaf this week.
Just this morning.
Yeah, probably within the past.
Jolie,
30
do you want
seconds.
to?
I-
5 minutes.
Don't you find it ridiculous that I was moving? I was moving the table instead
Okay,
of
so the camera's over there, so I'm gonna turn these there.
I thought we were. Oh,
Oh, it's gonna go that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
yes.
I've known that if I was paying
Thank
attention.
you. Wait. Where?
What?
You didn't even meet anybody. I thought we were just turn this table so you guys could sit down.
Blues and sandwich.
No. No.
Steve, tiny.
This is Jeff. This is
Chris.
CT.
Nice to meet you.
Randy,
Randy, I'm Steve.
Steve, and Heather.
Nice to meet you. I'm
Steve
Chris.
and Heather, and then
Nice
one
to
of
meet
our other owners, Steve Scherf. They're our owners for the whole area.
Yes, not gonna get in.
So, yeah.
So they're the
Why
ones
not?
that are in AA.
Should.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome to.
Sorry, you and Jolie can do this. I'm just here to drink and touch myself.
We might be live. I'm not sure.
We're definitely live.
Oh, yeah. I just want to see how you
You're gonna have to cut that part out.
There's,
Whatever you say, Alan.
wait, she looks like on a time machine.
Right.
So the stuff that's being recorded, Jolie, is what I'm not recording yet.
Okay, yeah.
But the stuff that's live,
It's live.
All right, I'm like, you guys gonna
that's perfect.
come up here.
So since we got, well, you should probably put Jolie over there.
Yeah, she can go wherever.
All right,
but I think
wherever.
she's good because she.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Do I need a puffy thing? What are these?
You got those. They're already on your sleeves.
If you put that right there together, and then this, I'll put this one here, and I'll put that one there, and then that. Just so you know, that one's not recording yet. These are the ones right here.
Oh, so give her.
I want this
Well,
puppy.
what'd you know? Well, did you get? Just put them in the. They're in the middle because there's only 2 of them.
Stop touching things.
I want the puffy thing.
Oh my God, we're back.
Give
I'm back. I'm already. I'm already at another
This one's
another
not
level.
recording. I'm just gonna talk into it the whole time.
Well,
Oh,
no, it's
boy.
gonna record in.
Just whisper into it.
Are we ready to go?
Oh.
No, are you ready to put up the theme song?
Whoa.
Everybody smile at me real
Can't see
fast.
her on Facebook. I mean on YouTube.
Can't
So
see.
the
Okay,
big
all right,
cam.
all
Wait,
right.
you're good. We can just move that top camera.
Well, what about move her just to that? Nope. Where she has to go here?
Well, move that camera
We
then,
need to move the camera.
because the bottom camera is
Well,
good.
then move the camera, smile at me. Gotcha.
Because the bottom, the Facebook one's perfect.
Just fuck it.
Hey,
If she'll move to that seat, there we go.
You gotta tell Jolie
Jolie.
she's gotta move one over.
Get
Get closer to
Hear what I was
CT.
just
Right here.
tell Jolie to move to that seat.
He says that if
To
you
me.
sit next to
To me.
her, 'cause
Says-
you're going to get in
yeah,
trouble.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's just as close, and he can tell her, but he wants me to.
He knows better.
This
He wants
is-
you to get in trouble.
I mean, okay,
Jolie,
so
would you please
how
move to
many
that
years
one?
has it been since we did a podcast with Jolie involved in it at the
Do
same
you need this one in
time?
the back, or do you want me to move
It's
it?
been, yeah.
It can go. Unless you want to sit there.
I don't know. I don't need to.
What are you doing?
I'm showing you one.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's yours. I thought you had.
Yeah, this is mine, so you can.
Boy,
do
I
it.
need
That's
some
perfect.
alcohol now.
Perfect.
You better start drinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna need something like soon.
Okay,
You're
what?
wound
This-
up.
What
are
are
these?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know I'm wound up. Whenever I try to
that
get things, and then you bring.
What's? I mean, are these just
Of
any?
course.
yeah. This is okay.
Before,
So this is a
you kept
pina
me hidden from
colada.
the-
Oh, that's me. I'm in.
This is a peach tea. This is
What's that one?
The one
Pina
you're not
colada
getting.
slushy. Peach tea slushy.
Pina colada.
What's this?
You're allergic. To.
That's a sunshine old fashioned. And this is the barefootin', which is with ginger beer and a strawberry basil
I'll
Oh,
try
that's good.
that.
syrup for making muddle.
All right, so let's get this podcast started. All right,
You may play the theme song now.
I'll tell you when. Get it.
I'm gonna play it right
get
now.
Oh my
ready.
God, let's get going.
I'm
We're
playing it.
going.
I'm playing it right now. Get it
All
started.
right,
Yeah,
hold on.
yeah, I'll just go and start halfway through.
Well,
That's what I would do.
oh, here we gotta get it. There's always a ad.
It's fine. You got this, CJ. It's okay.
Are you ready? What are you doing now?
I made a peach tea slushy.
Commercials.
That's it.
You want to taste it? It's the same color as tea.
I'll ruin this.
Go.
Drinking bourbon, sipping on scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we drink every brew.
Go.
Man, it's awesome.
How much do you pay for people to do that?
Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
Funny.
Making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to
All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. That was Kenny Fuller.
You tried to time that like perfect, didn't you?
I got that down.
Practice.
Don't
He's
you,
close.
oh yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Okay.
But that was Kenny Fuller of from Luca Mariano with Jen. She toured around with her for a while, and he was in the old Americana band. But he was a good musician.
Yeah.
So we were at Bourbon, the Bourbon barbecue thing that they had at I think it was at Log Still Distillery, and they were there. and he's like, there was a guitar there, and he's like, what about a theme song? So it's funny that you said John Mellencamp. You mentioned
We don't use that name here.
John Cougar,
The Coug.
Anyways, the Coug.
No, it's a Z.
Cougs.
Cougs.
The Cougs.
With a Z.
All right. Anyways, I enjoy his
It's official.
music. I have always ever since I was, when I was 18. But at the same time, I said to him, I want something like that. So he came up with that, and it was like I sometimes like when he put that out at first, the theme song was 50 times better than the podcast. I mean, there's no way everybody. I mean, I have people come up and say, I can't get that song out of my head. Yeah, because it's a catchy theme song. But then, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
And you get so many people. What would you say? Just
Jolie's
like when
laughing
we
'cause she
play
said it's still better than
when we play the Alabama song at the end, which I don't. That song, I had a guy locally do it, and he sounds so much. I keep getting copyright infringements that I have to on YouTube that I have to keep challenging.
Oh, off just the automated
because of his.
Yeah.
But the Alabama song isn't they don't have. That's a cover song for the Doors from the Moon. Yeah, Moon over in a poem, and it was called Moon on Alabama. And I thought maybe they changed the whole, the way that the music was to, and they just, but no, the music from that play, if you hear that song, is just exactly like what the Doors put out. So I keep challenging and winning, but they do it to every single one. It's like I do it 2 times a week, and then 2 times a week I have all the stuff in the challenges copy and paste in my notes, so I could just pop. Then it takes a month, and then it takes 7 more days, and then I win. I've won like 10 times, and they got 22 of them out there that I'm still challenging.
Cougs is a close personal friend of Brian Smith. You're probably going to get a cease and desist over this. Too.
There's no way. That's nothing to do.
You can't prove it's not an unreleased demo.
Well, then it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, then I think that would be a thumbs up for Kenny, man. You did a good job.
I think they put Brian personally responsible for going after any type of Cougs copyright infringement too.
Yeah.
You got to go through Brian Smith now.
Yeah, except that's nothing to do with anything, but he wrote the song for it.
You started the conversation about music.
Anyways.
I don't know, you knew where this was going to go.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
Yes.
All right. So we're at
close
Old
enough.
Homestead Distillery. Your new digs, right?
Sure.
Mr. Alan Bishop is here with us for a record 14th time.
Really?
Yeah. You and Greg Schneider,
Oh.
and both of you at the same time went dark because you both left where you were, and now it's fine. And then so you're back. I don't know. He's actually ended up at a place.
Yeah, he's got a new thing
for the
Branches.
4 branches of the
Yeah.
See, and he's going to be doing similar to what he was doing. Makes good whiskey. You guys have definitely different.
They're smart to pick him up.
Oh,
They're
God.
smart to pick him up. He's the perfect person for that brand. He's so knowledgeable, but he's also just on par with their audience, and he's so well spoken. I love Greg, but I think he's a good pickup.
Plus, it's a military brand,
That's
and
what
if
I'm
you
saying.
ever were going to make a cartoon of a guy in the military, Greg would be who you would draw.
Yep.
So it's just like perfect. But and we're here, and we're also together for the first time in a long time. I've been what would you say? I wouldn't say fantasizing about this moment when you and
I
Jolie
hope
did.
not.
But
You always make everything really weird.
of course I do. That's why do you think?
And you think he's lying.
Oh, I know.
It's-
No.
You've been excited about
If you
this.
find- if
Yes,
for
about
a
you guys-
while.
you guys
find
doing the
yourself
pod-
Yes.
whittled out of wood, little figurines of you and Jolie whittled and set on a mantle.
He'll forget and ask me to sign it.
Of
'Cause
course.
That's how he does.
Well, how do you think I got you both back together?
It's just you doing.
I had one over here and one over here, and I just kept every day moving them
Moving
closer
closer and
together. So
Oh, I got stuff to do in the distillery, so I'll see my way out.
See you later. Bye.
anyways, so it's great to be here.
Yeah.
We were here when it was under construction. I was just today when I was downstairs. I remember Jolie posting a lot of construction when there was nothing in there, and it was a room, and but now you got it's filling in, and
It's
then now
in
the
there.
tasting room's open, and that's really a nice area, plus your stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, you're what would you say? It's almost like a mad scientist room.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely. I like to think that it's exactly what a home distiller would do if they had room and money to actually do it. It's just home distilling scaled up for sure. So, and to show people what the possibilities are with that type of equipment. So it's coming along.
It's not quite Woodford Reserve pot stills.
Nope, doesn't need to be. Doesn't need to be. That goes back to that thing that I always said. I've run Vendomes and everything else, and Forsyth, and I could make just as good a spirit on a keg still as I ever could any of that stuff. And not that they don't make great equipment, but that's not necessarily the name of the game. It's not.
So deep down,
Mhm.
would it be fun to run one of those pot stills at? I mean, it's basically they took that standard Scotch pot still and then they turned it into a 3-story huge giant Goliath. I mean, does it run exactly the same? Would it be as easy to
Much.
run it as the smaller version?
Yeah, it wasn't any different when I was at Copper and Kings and going from keg still to milk stirrator tank to 1,000-gallon Vendome. So pretty straightforward. So they all have their own
I'm
interesting.
not
Change
trying
the
to
math.
I'm not trying to speak for Alan, but Alan doesn't care about that stuff, and I think a lot of people know that, right? Like Alan is from what I can see, happiest when he's making a botanical spirit, and that is on the smallest still that we have.
Right.
I don't think the Vendome or like the name brands or anything like that
Well-
really means a lot to somebody who this is truly their art form. This is truly how they express themselves and how they, put themselves out into the world for consumption, essentially. And you have to be careful with that as well. Just because you're just constantly putting your own energy out. But I think that there's more artistry in a smaller still than there is in a larger still, simply because you can cover a lot up in a larger still and with barrels. And with smaller stills and smaller amounts,
Right.
there's less wiggle room there.
These give us ability too that we can modify things as we go. You can
Yeah.
afford to do those modifications and change things out, and still get plenty of opportunity to play with Vendome out at Mount Vernon. Those are all Vendome, and then just got back from Stolen Wolf on the Wolf and Wilson project, and that column. You know this. I'm not a column guy, but if I was going to have a column, that's what it would be.
Well, now you but most commercial distillers
Mhm.
don't have the skill
Yeah.
to assemble their own stills.
I
Now-
wouldn't say that we had the skill to do it either. You put together wrong enough times, you figure it out. So.
Well, but you also knew what you were trying to accomplish, and what you're trying to accomplish is it. I mean, if you were just putting it together to just standard, make a pot still and whatever, that's one thing. And a lot of people, when they get the Vendome assembles it and puts it to where
Right.
they want, But you're not trying to do that. You're trying to put this and that. And a lot of times that's based off of experimenting when you were a home distiller, and then now that
I like modular stuff like that, like that you can put together yourself and you can switch things out on. And then also, there's Vendome comes with great quality, and they come with great maintenance and all that stuff. And there's definitely like the awe factor when you walk into a place with a Vendome, without a doubt, for sure. So
Well, it's like anything in this industry. There's all levels. It's
Well,
it's different things for different people, different flavors for different people. I mean, it's so unique in the fact that some people like this, some people like that, and just like for you guys, having the ability to control what you want to do in a whole nother world than what those people do, because
Right.
Yeah.
you can't go in and say, man, you know what, I think we need to do this. No, just do what you were told to do.
I also-
it's like you have more ability to do things that
something that I also love about those stills in particular is that it's the same thing with the previous place I was at, is that they're not intrinsically engineered by people who necessarily understand distillation. So there's little things that you have to do to get them to do what you want them to do, and in that's where you discover the intricacies that really make your product unique and different. And
you talk about that column still at Stolen Wolf, and you like how they run it. And the purpose of a column still was to produce more consistent whiskey
And quickly.
all the time. Like, yes. And it can run 24/7 for months if you know. And so what I get at is, you, on the other hand, it's just like anything else. When I saw all the automation that came in for everything and all the computerized stuff, there is a really, like, for a smaller craft distillery here where you're controlling most of everything, and you do have some, I'm sure, some computer aspect on it.
Nope.
No.
Nothing even. Okay, so that you're running it.
Yeah.
So, but but you did have at the other place some computer aspect. But I always felt that if you get modern technology, or you have something and you put it in the right hands of the person, then you can, like Stolen Wolf, you can run a column still a lot differently than just trying to produce volume and whatever it can produce, but then you're going to cut down on
Right.
the amount you're producing.
Well,
you
and,
know?
and then even for Eric and Avi, they're not they don't have, theirs isn't really automated. It's all hand controlled as well, and a different design than a Kentucky column. It runs much more like a pot still, especially the Thumper does. And I think, Eric had talked about it'd be so much easier to automate, but exactly to your point, at that point, then you're probably going to lose a little bit of what makes Stolen Wolf special. And the same thing here. These are really unique stills and a really unique setup too, because to our knowledge, we're actually the largest all-electric distillery in the United States.
Yeah.
So there's been a massive learning curve with that.
So are you then going to start driving to work in Teslas?
I mean, I hear they're going cheap right now. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyways, all electric. You should just just not the still and everything, just everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Go all in. Sure, Jeff. Sure. What is this? What is this?
He's like, he wants the tea.
Start drinking now.
Oh my god. That's awesome. Anyways, all right. So you guys are here, and you're doing it again. I mean, but you're doing it in a much different. This is a much different culture.
We won't make the same mistakes. We'll make new mistakes.
Well, true, but at least you won't make the same mistakes, and
Yes.
you've learned. And there's always but at the same time, talk about the. I mean, you went, instead of just making, like most places would be, moonshine, right?
Yeah.
You decided that you're going to make sunshine, which, if you go, you're going to tell us about that process, and that process is a lot harder to do, and from what I can see, than to make moonshine.
It's a lot more hand involved, and I wouldn't say it's harder than making moonshine, but it's a lot more hand involved even than, say, the whiskeys that we're making.
It's definitely time consuming.
Yeah.
Can you make moonshine out of sunflower seeds?
Absolutely.
So, okay.
But you can't call it sunshine because we own that.
Literally.
No, you'd have to call it. You just have to do it at night, and then you could call it
Yeah,
moonshine.
and without paying taxes. Absolutely, yeah. So that was part of the purpose, or part of the thing. So
Just to be clear, we're paying our taxes. Okay.
Well, no, you're not making it at night.
Right. So that was one of the things that we did want to do here, though, was to focus on, because we do have a lake audience. We have a little different audience than what I had at the other place in particular. So very much so trying to create something that has the aspects of, stuff that people that come to the lake will enjoy, but also things that home distillers would enjoy, and things that also just the consumer in general will enjoy. So I want to make just moonshine, because I don't think that you should make moonshine in a legal distillery. I don't think you should call it that. The connotation deserves a little more respect than that. And people in my family would have a real problem if I ever said I was making legal, quote unquote, moonshine. Some of them had enough problem with me working in a legal distillery that I don't need that coming down. So, but the other part of it was also paying tribute to Mike Stallings. So Moonshine Mike, who was a very dear friend of mine, we would trade recipes back and forth all the time. And when he was sick and he had kind of went into remission for a little while, he called me up and he's like, "Hey, I haven't mashed in for a while. I'm going to mash in this weekend. What are you going to do?" And he goes, "Well, I've got literally said I've got a half a bag of birdseed. And I think I'm just gonna throw them in there and see what happens." And I didn't think anything would come of it. And he sent me a sample and it was good, but we would never copy each other. So I took it and then started malting the sunflowers, then roasting them, and that's where the sunshine thing developed from, kind of as a tribute to Moonshine Mike, for sure.
So you were kind of experimenting with this before you got here, and then this took it to a whole different level.
Yeah, supposedly, yes. Yeah, I was, basically what's happening here at Old Homestead right now with the Sunshine projects is that I'm taking all of my home distilling background and put that into the Sunshine products. In terms of intentionality and what you're actually putting into the product, what you're developing, how much can go into it. You're elevating that quote unquote moonshine category, right? So many of those guys that are doing moonshine are just doing corn and sugar, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, except that it's a hard sell to most people. Whereas we're spending a little bit more time finding specialty grains or modifying grains, like we do all of our own malting of our own sunflowers, or we toast oats, or we toast corn, or we peat smoke oats, or cut up tons of apples and do the whole thing. So
Yeah,
it's
hand mashed
very
peaches.
yeah.
So and then we were here before this was even here.
Mhm.
It was if I remember when we were here, it was stone and they just had poured the cement pad. So Jolie, talk about where we are and how the Sunshine almost, not only are you making something that's kind of cool that nobody else has ever done, but you're also making it in a market that is probably perfect for what you're doing. And that's where Jolie comes in.
Yeah. This area is Lakers, lake lifers, boaters, campers, lake Hoosiers. That's our new term. So we know what they like. We know they enjoy a good time. They like to be out on the lake. We made the Sunshine Spirit flavored spirits to be mixed. So they're thicker, they're bolder, they're brighter. When you taste it, it does come off like a little bit of a syrup, but it is a cocktail syrup. So it's meant to be mixed. They are anywhere from 60 to 70 proof. And so when you mix them, it's perfect because it takes it right down to where a lot of those other moonshine distilleries are putting out their moonshine at 30 and 40 proof. So this is going to take you down to that, but it's going to be ready to go. We've got them in slushies downstairs. We've got them into cocktails as well, but we're coming out with a whole new spritzer menu almost that makes them a little bit lower proof. So we've got the heavy hitters, which are the cocktails. Those are boozy, high proof. Then we've got the spritzers, the fizzes. Is that the right? The fizzes.
Sounds good to me.
I think the spritzer term is a little too
No,
Cracker Barrel.
it's a little, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that term, but
here I am.
If
If I'm
Right,
voting, I'm
right.
totally.
We've sold
spritzer.
Jeff.
I'm like,
But
hey,
that's
yeah,
the
I'm
thing,
on.
right? So
Where's
you
those
can
spritzers?
you can literally just, you grab your bottle and you grab your mixer, be it Coke or a hydration drink or juice or whatever, and then right in a tumbler, and you're ready to go. So
And head
it's
out.
perfect for the
Yeah.
it's perfect for the clientele
Head out for the Sunshine.
right around here.
Well,
Yeah.
that was part of the thing too, with the allure of coming here and being a part of this, as well as that, I've been through two companies where either not through my own volition or through my own volition, I've either had a set of rules that were handed to me or a set of rules that I created. That's a Lake Hoosier.
Sounds like his car's on the lake.
His
Right
jet
now,
ski
that's
sounds worse.
it.
It's really just a lawnmower with a leaf blower on it. But anyways,
Red Green
so
Show.
I didn't want to paint myself into a corner here. So that's part of the fun of this. But the one rule that we do have is, say, with the flavored sunshines, because people like the flavored stuff.
Yeah.
But we won't go crazy with it. So it'll be, if you couldn't find that flavor in, say, an apothecary at the turn of the 20th century, we're not gonna create it. So,
Well, I mean, to put it, the hardest part of starting up a distillery is the time that you need for your brandies and your whiskeys and everything in the barrel, aged spirits, and everybody knows further on down the line it helps out, but at the same time, it's coming here. You're filling that void.
you don't have to play into the purist audience.
Right,
Yeah.
because that void market is right there. I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, you've already got the data. You guys got the data on the wine slushies.
Yeah.
And it's not like you don't on the summer weekends.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it in stock.
Yeah.
People are just.
Yeah, we make them all day long.
Yes.
Potoka Lake Winery, just so everybody knows what we're talking about. PotokaLakeWinery.com. We've got 12 different 2-tank slushy
That hurts.
machines. And so it goes, I mean, we've got all of those filled. So there's A couple we have double flavors because they're so popular. That flavor is so popular, and then the others, several of the 5 of them are rotating flavors. But we've got 22 different tanks of wine slushies, and during the summer we just crank them out all day long. The most we ever sold was on Memorial Day Sunday 2 years ago. We sold 1,007 wine slushies in one day.
Like,
Wow.
so there you go.
Yeah.
So I just, for me, instead of being over there for the wine slushies, I'm over here for the sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've tasted the sunshine and, a little whatever.
Yeah.
You mentioned butterscotch, so that's my thing. So I haven't
Yeah.
had that yet, so I'm excited about that.
It
Yeah.
tastes exactly like butterscotch you put on ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
it does.
So I mean that's
Yeah.
I mean I'm not going to drink a ton of it because I know what happens the next day.
Well,
But
here's the beauty of that though too. So one of the reasons that we did that, we made those as intense as what we did, as Jolie said, they're mixers. But the other idea was that if somebody comes in, they like something really sweet, that fits the palate. But say if you wanted to have a little flavor of that, and it not be overwhelming, you can always go, a half shot of sunshine and a half shot of one of the flavored sunshine.
Yeah.
And then
or
sort
you
of
could
moderate it.
or
proof
you
it
could
down
you
or
guys
proof it
I
up
can
or-
just
Proof it up and
imagine
moderate sweetness.
a
Yeah.
butterscotch American whiskey old fashioned. Now there you go.
It would be good.
There.
We've got cocktails with the butterscotch downstairs. It's called Shirked Vision, named after one of our owners, Steve Shirk. We did a lot of our own construction.
Not Shark,
A
Shirk.
lot of people don't know this, but one of our owners, Steve Bartels, he was a contractor before he came to us, and so he built houses. Since Shirk did radio towers and pagers, and so all of them are very familiar with running wire, a building. And so we saved ourselves quite a bit of money by doing a lot of that ourselves. So Shirk actually lost vision in his right eye, I think, in his right eye. Wiring, there was
good.
something that happened, came and flicked his eye, tore his retina. It was a whole thing.
I'm just glad it wasn't Alan's whiskey.
Yeah.
That's what
So-
fixed it. That's what fixed
We
it.
had another accident too, Heather Setzer. So our owners are Steve Shirk, Steve Bartels, Heather Setzer. Own the marina, the station, the winery. We own this whole area.
and
I'm
then-
getting to it. Own this whole area. And Alan and I are partners in the distillery. But this area was laid out with vision in mind, right? This was a big giant field. So it became, there's a housing tract behind us. There's a winery. There is multiple places for lodging. There's 3 giant family cabins in the back of us. The brewery was built. The brewery was the first stage of our construction because they were an existing brewery that came in to take care of that. So
Are they happy?
they love it. Yeah.
When we were
Yeah.
here last time, when we were at the winery, this building did not exist at all.
Right.
But that had started,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
they were working on
They were first, then the hotel was second, and the distillery was third.
the silos were there.
Yeah.
the
The
hotel
winery was
silo.
built in
Yep, yep.
2016 with the event center added on the year after that. So yeah.
So
Very
the whole thing is Alcohol Acres is the
Yeah.
yeah.
It's our
Yeah.
new trademark.
I think
Alcohol
this is
Acres.
this should be a show. Like I feel like this could totally
Like a reality show?
The
I
Sunshine
feel like we
Game.
could do a
Right,
reality show.
right. Wait till those little adventure
I really
minis come
do.
along.
I really do.
Oh my god.
That's where
Yeah.
AMSI comes in.
That's where AMSI
You get
comes in.
AMSI the 50 mils with the shotgun holster thing, and you get him riding around on a golf cart on Sunshine Acres,
This
and he pulls out the bottles and
sounds
just,
like a
He just
lawsuit.
rides up on people and says,
Or you could get him a boat with just a fake blue light on top, checking everybody out there.
he just rolls up on people on his
Yeah,
ATV.
and then he just basically shoots them with the t-shirt cannon to give them
Yeah,
up for
there's your
old
cannon.
There's
homestead,
my t-shirt.
and then throws a bunch
Amzi's
of the ammo
he's
on
the
the
link.
floor.
he says,
I feel like the DNR might have real issues with that.
he says snarky things like, "Have you ever met an actual geologist?"
When he falls in, he could find mud fossils on the bottom of the lake.
I'm all for it. We can have a mud fossil convention. Just
We have an
saying.
event center. So
Well,
let's
actually,
do it.
you could have it right here.
Yeah.
Right out here.
We
Just
can.
everybody bring their mud fossils.
There you go.
It's going to turn into a thing.
There you go.
It should.
Got
That's
mud
what-
fossils?
That's why we're here. I mean, I just noticed the one cool thing is when you were at elsewhere where you would hang out and whatever. there was this view that I remember well, and now when I went,
the swamp.
but when I went back there where your view is, it's just so much more. What would you say?
Picturesque.
Professional distillery kind of thing.
Doesn't smell weird either.
Nope. And then I just imagine that how busy it's going to be during the summer and how much fun you're
That's the
going
goal.
So I only got a little
Yeah.
preview of it last year because we weren't open, but we'd be in there distilling and people would walk by the windows and just randomly stick their head in and yell things. So I can imagine how it's going to go
now that it's legit.
Because
You're legit.
Our customers are interactive, Alan.
They are very
They're
interactive.
there to interact
Yes.
with you and learn
Dad's
and,
friends
and,
would
and
come
be a part of
by,
the process.
and they'd go by the window and they'd yell "Old Dale Bishop" real loud across
yeah.
the distillery.
But speaking of old Del Bishop, how is he doing?
He's doing good.
His
doing good.
his hips are feeling good.
He's doing
mobile?
extremely well. He's up,
Yeah,
moving,
he's
doing
doing
stuff, mowing the yard, breaking my lawnmower, and then making me pay to fix it.
It is
so, yeah,
yours.
that's fair. Not only did he break it, he ran all the gas out. of
It happens.
So it was a
I'm-
double.
So what you're saying is basically he's reverted back. To
He just
being
backed
one of
the
your
chaos.
God,
kids.
I wish
It's
I
back
could
to being
do that to
feral.
my kids.
That's what your
Normally
kids do,
they
the
break
same
all
thing.
my crap and I gotta pay for it. But if I could figure it out that I could go to their house and break their stuff and them pay for it, your dad's
Do you want to
got
borrow my dad? He'd live in Ohio for a little while.
I would have Dale
It's
there.
mushroom season right
We'd
now.
have some good times.
Yeah, if you
If
get
I-
lost somewhere.
I
in
got
the
a
woods,
lot of whiskey to share.
Oof, you enjoy that.
Right, yeah, all right. You clearly never seen him drunkenly butt scooch when he falls down and refuses assistance to get
Well, that
up.
was because of his hips.
No, that was because he was drunk.
No, yeah.
Just kidding. All right, so you're here. So let's do a vision of going forward. Let's say where are you guys going to be in 2 years?
So I think that there's multiple different crowds here. So there's obviously the lake crowd, which we can very easily draw and we can very easily play off of, and that's going to by far always be the bulk of our business, I think. But I also think that as we grow, obviously we're going to have whiskeys, American whiskeys in particular. We'll have brandies. We'll have a little bit more of those in-depth sort of spirits that people can really get behind and sort of fanboy or fangirl out on. But there will also be an educational component in time where we'll be teaching classes about the art of distillation and things of that nature. So it's sort of all encompassing. The other idea was that eventually, in time we would have obviously statewide distribution and maybe also end up in some select markets in other states. We kind of know where my style of distillation works within the marketplace. So we know what markets to sort of attach ourselves to and go after. But we talked about, if this thing ever really gets up and going, the ability to even be able to franchise a distillery.
If
It will. I know it will.
I
I'm
mean,
just
God,
saying.
where's the if come from?
You-
That's not
You
you.
said, listen, you can't just say, give me a vision and me not be like, if.
All right, you're not. So you're just being Alan Bishop, humble on camera.
Sure.
There
Yes.
we go.
I haven't had enough to drink yet. That's the problem.
Oh,
what it
that's
is.
true. Almost nothing. You're probably
2 years from now, I see us with whiskey in the tasting room, straight bourbon whiskey, 2 years old. Some that we've
Limited.
had
Oh, well,
in
that
limited,
stuff.
it
limited
has to
release.
be. No,
Yeah, no,
keep it from us.
yeah.
Let us not have it.
I
That's the
agree.
key with bourbon and whiskey and American whiskey. Just keep some of that away from us. We just give us little tastes. I know you, so I'll probably be able to taste one every once in a while.
You can talk.
Go
now.
ahead.
Can I talk now? Is that okay?
Oh boy.
You know what? You actually, from when I first met you, you seem to be nicer.
I'm not.
She's just gotten quieter.
I mean, but even what you did, what you went up and you told her that so and so had called and wanted to do this, and she was just you were mad, but you were nice.
Come on out, Tyler. So 2 years, I see us with an expanded flavored Sunshine Spirit line. I see us adding at least 2 to 4 more flavors within the next couple of years. We'll have some Christmas bottles. I definitely expect to have some limited release whiskey, 2 years old, blended with some barrels. We have been putting away whiskey, working with another distillery using our mash bills and Alan's protocols and methodology. There's some alcohol laws in Indiana that date back to Prohibition that prohibit us from selling that in our tasting room. So I see that moving forward and hopefully changing. The Distillers Guild in Indiana is working on a lot of those kind of
When you
backwards
blend
old
it,
laws.
can you still blend it a certain
It has
way?
to be
60-40.
yeah, 60-40. So 60% our
So
whiskey,
you're playing with
40%
rules again?
our whiskey.
You gotta play in rules again. I mean, like what the first time you started off one way, got a bunch, and then all of a sudden they changed the rules on you,
The day that I got it, yeah.
and then you sold
Yeah.
it up to Ohio.
Yeah.
And then we
Right.
got to taste. And then
Well,
Colorado, Steve.
No.
Valley,
Well, but those are
Colorado,
different. That was sourced bourbon.
Yeah,
this
this
is not. We're not
no.
talking
This
about
isn't sourced. This is
barrels.
what he is directly.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and there's no. The cool thing about Alan is he's got projects. You know, he's got his main thing there, but he's got. I mean, just all the stuff that you do is
Mhm.
just amazing. There's so much to do out, and he was doing. You know, as you were going, and
Yeah.
so that makes total sense. That's you're ready to go,
Well,
right? But you just got to wait till the rules change a little
the
bit.
great thing is that there's potentiality that in time those rules could change. The other part is that the distiller we worked with, and I presume we're good to say there.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Moondrops.
It's Moondrops.
Yeah, I heard you not saying. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
You were
I was.
giving
It
me
was more just.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've
Are
been
we-
saying
see,
that
Jolie's
for so
like-
long before we
Jolie's like,
opened.
Are we going there? That's
Yeah.
what I said.
So well, and that's part of it. Like when we release that stuff, they'll actually we plan to co-market
Yeah.
that to some degree because Moondrops is a great distillery, and so those
Yes.
guys they
And they're such good people.
they didn't look at me like I was crazy when I told them to do any things that I wanted them to do. And they made fantastic whiskey. But the cool thing about it is it will be a little bit different, even though the mash bills and the yeast, etc., are the same. It'll be a little different than what we make here because they do single pass on everything.
Yeah.
Single pass with a short column on a hybrid. So those in themselves will be unique expressions that'll be cool for people to get a hold of and then be able to compare to what's coming out in the future.
Yeah.
Still all in the same vein. So. But yeah, they made some fantastic whiskey. It's just a shame we can't put it out at the moment. So.
At the moment,
Yeah.
and that would get you faster into the whiskey
Very
aspect.
much so.
But
Mhm.
so
It's okay though because there's so much. There's never been a distillery in this location. Our customers have never had access to anything like this before. Aside from our products being really unique, there's just never been anything like this in this area. We are very different from other distilleries that are around us by design, but it's nice to get a handle on this before we move directly into the whiskey aspect of things, right? It's nice because
And figure out our storytelling on all of it too.
figure out that, but even like we started and the pH of the water from the lake was different. And it was Alan, there were a couple of days where Alan was like questioning himself and it was like, are we doing this? Can we do this? How do we do this?
what distiller who's doing something? I mean, honestly, it's obvious you know and have a direction of what you're doing, but like anything else, to actually do it is that to change everything of what you're. I mean, there's a comfort zone once you got it down and you did it. Now and then there's a lot of things in distilling. There's so much. There's things that yeast, how to collect yeast and everything. So that wasn't. But at the same time, you're just to start up and everything. And I know you just because just the Alan Bishop experience when you went from home distilling to a huge what was it, 600-gallon pot,
750 and 1,000 gallons.
So yeah, and all of a sudden you're like, it's very similar because you're assembling this and everything's new to you, but it's kind of what you get off on because you're not bored.
No, absolutely. But I will say this, and Jolie's right. So historically, even there weren't this area of Crawford County. There's a lot of moonshiners here, but there weren't any distillers here. There were in Magnolia and English and a couple other places. So it is a new paradigm for this region, especially in a county as small as this. There's 10,000 people roughly in Crawford County, and so this place is crazy because in the winter time it's there's really no one here, and then all of a sudden you go from I can go home and it'd be perfectly fine. I leave on a Friday in another month and I'll be sitting at the intersection of the highway for 45 minutes waiting on people with boats.
But isn't that perfect for a distiller?
It's great.
It's like most of the distilling aspect happens not in the heat of the summer.
Yeah. Well, there will
It
be
can.
distilling all
No,
summer,
it
yeah.
can
Oh, yeah.
happen. But you really during the winter, where it's ideal for distilling in heat and everything, and controlling temperature, it's a lot easier to control what's going on. Then it's your dead. That's the dead point. And then when the summer hits, then you concentrate on. You probably tone it down a little bit, but at the same time, as far as how much volume, or are you going to keep it
No,
just going?
it'll
Okay.
No.
roll through.
Yeah.
It'll roll through. Now the other real quick thing on that too, that I want to say, because it drove back to your point. There's a
malting.
bigger learning curve coming here than I had from going from home to Copper and Kings, or from Copper and Kings to the other place. This was the hardest learning curve that I've ever been through in distillation, despite the fact that I may have prototyped, a lot of stuff at home over the years. Figuring out how the all electric thing works, figuring out how to work around not necessarily having a chilling system or things of that nature, figuring out scaling botanical spirits when botanical quality changes. This has been a major difference from the other ones. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Well, and also working with people that I actually enjoy working with, has been nice. So as opposed to not feeling like you can actually get anything done because it just comes to a stall.
I don't like you though, so.
Well, I don't like you either. I actually like you less now than I did at the other place.
Cheers.
I would say, but the difference
Jesus,
between the other place and this place is that how spread out this is. Like, if you guys have a day you really, really don't like each other, you can
we just don't
talk.
split up. She can hang
if
out
we
over
have a
there.
day-
and you can,
If we
when
have a
you
day-
have days that you have space.
Alan already made me cry once.
I did. I felt bad about it for a minute, and then it went away. It was almost where I wish I had filmed it. Truthfully.
You do not, because then Kim
See,
would
this
see
is
it,
where-
and then she'd be mad at it.
This is where the Sunshine Acres, the live
Alcohol
AMZ,
acres.
yeah, he would have
See?
got
What?
that.
Oh, this is carrier pigeon. This is how me and Jolie talk.
Oh,
Yeah, this is our go-between.
Yeah.
Scoot
so
over.
this is so
Scoot
it's,
over,
this
Ellen, come in.
is this the
Yeah.
old homestead version of Pedro?
No,
Okay.
I love Pedro to death, but Tyler is
More
cut
hands-on.
from the cloth distiller, so for sure. And whereas Pedro wasn't necessarily of that mindset, Pedro was great at what he did, but distilling wasn't necessarily his passion.
Okay, but
This guy probably won't say a word, but he's a distiller. He's a good distiller.
but from what I've
He'll
already
sing it,
mentioned,
though.
that
will
he
sing.
might bring a little bit too much passion and happiness to the job.
He has gorilla hands. He breaks everything he touches.
It's good for
If it's got-
assembling shit,
If
right?
it's got
Like
a
the hoses
button
and
or a squeeze trigger, it is screwed within 7 days.
Okay, hold on though, because you drop the hoses and break those end pieces all the time.
What hoses?
The hose things,
Who's-
you break those.
Who's running around
The
with water hose all
nozzles.
the time? Is it
Before
me?
he came, you broke
Broke
all of
one.
them.
He broke 3. I keep
That's
count.
not what Old Dale Bishop.
Well, that's because Odell Bishop can't be trusted.
and he ain't here.
He's not here to back
He's
it
not
up.
here. So yeah,
So CT, you got some questions?
Are we gonna try this Sunshine?
Yeah, let's
What,
talk
what
about
about
the
what's
products.
this? What's this?
so let's do that one last. And that one gets a special place.
You gotta.
'cause
I don't give those out very often.
This one be the first one to start with. So
All right.
Okay, that's
This
Jolie.
is-
Jolie, you are.
So
I only
What-
just
what are we- what
know
are we
that we have to
drinking then?
drive.
So this is one of our sunshine. So we will basically have these different tiers of products, right?
Talk
So-
about the bottle.
Okay.
it's a bottle.
So that is a flip top German Stein bottle, and we went with that because we thought it was pretty cool. And I used those for years when I was supposedly moonshining at home. So
So do you use that
Allegedly.
type thing for yeast?
sometimes
That top is something. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
remember me telling you the story
Of
about the
course.
yeast in the kitchen and the
yeah,
top coming
and,
off?
and yeah, and
Pass
your
us
wife
your
and your wife go.
You guys can just take those.
So this is Newton Stewart, and this is more of a traditional. Do you want to? Okay. More of a traditional style shine, and that it is corn based, but it's a lease corn, which is a corn that I've bred myself, grown here in Indiana up at Sugar Creek Farms. Sugar Creek does almost all of our grains and all of our malting, other than the sunflowers and a little bit of corn malt. that we used here. There's also oats, rye, and wheat in this, I believe, and just a little bit of malted roasted sunflower and some raisins.
So
This is what I was.
sugar.
This would
Yep, and sugar, cane
this would
sugar.
be
So
just
that's
your
one thing.
typical
I mean, that's the one thing about
stuff.
that
This would be your
you know,
baseline
moonshine
flavor.
for fermentation.
No, this isn't the base of the flavor. anymore.
Sugar. Just go into like what sugar does to. I mean, it is the ultimate, right, for yeast. I mean,
So actually, they don't like it because it's sucrose instead of fructose, so they don't react well to it. And that's one of the problems with a lot of moonshine is what makes it hot is the actual sugar is stressing out the yeast. So we have very specific protocols.
what level is that?
It's called a,
I
called
love
a
it.
runner.
I love it. Why would? Sorry.
It's a runner.
Didn't we
You
just
do
tell
that-
people they can mix the flavored stuff and the Newton Stewart, which is what I'm doing because it's delicious and
Very specific
I
protocols.
love you,
to avoid
Jolie.
that.
You know that.
So we also
delicious.
Jeff, the
Don't be mad.
Facebook mics are not doing well.
The Facebook mics.
Yeah, it's just so people cannot hear. What
So
you
if
got?
this is you, okay. So these are Facebook. Let's see if they're on. Yep. Let's put it there.
Yeah, they're just
And
they're
let's put
saying you
one-
can't hear.
Let's see. That one's going and that one's going. All right. So maybe that'll be better. All right. Go ahead.
So we have very specific protocols, and we also have very specifically adapted yeast. So the yeast for this and all the sunshine comes from the old town of Newton Stewart down the road here that was destroyed whenever they put in Potoka Lake. There were 3 towns that were destroyed: Elon, Eckerty, and Newton Stewart. Newton Stewart's still part of it is above water. So Julie and I went down there and captured yeast specifically for this product. We also, all the sunshines, we actually take through a sugar maple charcoal filtration as well. To knock some of the edginess off of it, and a little bit of the oil off of it. But this is very much so the same thing that I was making at home for years, supposedly. Okay, I keep doing the supposedly. in there.
Allegedly.
So-
allegedly.
Clear Spirit.
Yep.
So
We do have some of this
we
in barrels
talk
too.
we talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. How Clear Spirit's like vodka, gin, and the what would you say the unhealthy aspects of those, based off them being produced at high strip, you know, the
industrial,
they strip
yeah.
flavor out, and they're not then put in a barrel to alleviate, you know, to get any filtration of anything that's bad that's in them. And then if you do it on a column still, it's a whole nother
Well,
ball game. But because you do it on a pot still,
A pot and double thumper system is what we use on this. So that's the traditional way that this would have been made here in the Black Forest region. So it's the equivalent of distilling more or less 2.5 times is what you end up with. Actually, not even that, about right at 2 times. So the proof off of that still is the exact same proof as what we get off of a double distillation run. But and Tyler runs most of the sunshines now when we're running those. So we're very specific about where we make our cut points, how tight those cuts are, no heads. In fact, we don't even rerun heads at this distillery. We get rid of them. They don't even get rerun in whiskey ever. So
now you do rerun some of you. You've always talked
we
about
always
tails.
rerun tails.
You
Tails.
rerun tails
Yeah.
because you like a little bit of the tails. The tails aren't harmful; they're bitter, right?
They can be, yes.
Right,
but it's
right.
also
So-
where most of your flavor and consistency
So,
is.
but to rerun them back in is being efficient, one,
Mhm.
and then two, if you know what you're doing, you can use them for flavor.
Yep.
Whereas heads, when you're rerunning heads, you're just taking the worst of the worst out and putting it back in, and then but it's almost like spinning your wheels, right?
There's another Lake Hoosier down there. So yeah, kind of. With heads, you can clean them back up. The heat will actually break down the compounds that you don't want that are poisonous. But-
Nail polish and
Yeah, acetaldehyde, ethyl acetate. But we don't reuse them because the styles of shines that we're making and the style of whiskeys that we're making, it's going to be much more about maintaining what comes off the still, even in the barrel. So
I mean, and you're not looking well. I mean, one of the classic heads flavors
acetaldehyde,
is is banana, right?
yeah, right.
And you're not looking. I mean, I suppose if you were making banana flavored sunshine, you might put a little in. But overall, but like you said, it's not good for you.
No,
There's,
no,
you know, when you
absolutely
taste that, it's good tasting.
And so Tyler can attest to this as well. So since he runs most of the sunshines now, depending on where at in that double thumper system that we actually end up putting those tails, it not only affects the flavor, but it also affects the mouthfeel. So we've learned in that double thumper that certain places where you might put those tails causes more oil to come across. And so we can really manipulate flavor profiles there. The other thing we can do with that thumper is some of the sunshines are actually flavored during distillation as well by throwing different things into the thumper, like apples or smoked apples. We've got we've also got a product called the Wycliffe Bell that we haven't released yet, but it's peat smoked apples and peat smoked oats. And so we throw those peat smoked apples into that thumper and really pull that flavor across heavily.
The tails also increase the output as well.
They do.
Oh yeah, it's volume. It's about volume. There's a lot there, but okay.
It's a working distillery, guys.
Yes, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not
no
really
problem.
Sure what's happening here. If you guys can
So what do
go
we got
back
next
down
here?
or-
What's this?
All right, so this is the White Sunshine. So we hand malt all of our sunflowers for this. Everything here is cold mashed using pure cane sugar as far as the sunshines go. Obviously, the whiskey doesn't have any of that stuff. But this is going to be it's a malted roasted sunflower, black oil sunflower, oats,
Raisins.
wheat, rye, raisins. Yes, no corn. And then cane sugar. So this is basically the same thing that I came up with whenever Mike Stallings and I were sort of bouncing ideas back and forth.
This is nice because this is a real savory. And I would say
Mezcal.
I was just gonna say if I would liken it to any spirit that's on the market, I would liken it to mezcal, but it does not have that high agave note to it. But it is great in a martini. It's great in a margarita. We've definitely played around with it. We've got a Bloody Mary with it downstairs.
You want some?
We have a pickleback.
Okay, you don't. Okay, that's
That's really good as well. That we have it in. So
And it helps to give it a little air as well.
yeah,
So that definitely
Anything
that
hot distilled,
roasty umami sort of character comes through on it in particular. And much like those clay pot mezcals in particular, a lot of that roastiness comes across there.
Well, I mean, this is honestly like every distillery that I've ever been to, a craft distillery. This is on the level of the moonshines that they're releasing or whatever that are serious moonshine.
Yeah.
You know, not the flavor. The flavors are all that brings in your crowd, right?
Right.
But this brings in the distillers, the old timers, the moonshine.
And
This is like
some of the purists too. I mean, like Steve Coombs is a big fan of this. He's had some really positive comments on, and that was kind of the goal, was to create a white spirit that had some real complexity to it, and didn't drink like a standard moonshine would.
corn.
Nope. no
It
corn.
does, but I'm picking up like a corn flavor.
Nope. That's all sunflower.
You pick up that CT just a little
Not
bit.
corn. I get more. There's like a type of a raisin note for me.
Yep. There's definitely
there's like a
raisin there.
nutty note in there. That's the sunflower too. But the malted. We were talking about how you were saying that it's better to run a lot of times in the winter than it is in the summer. I'm not a distiller. I like to say that I am because it's fun. But I do. Anytime I really do
It's just
anything,
what's the
I
best
sweep and I'm like, obviously I'm the master distiller around here.
You should. Anytime they add red wine to it, they should
Why
just
am I
add-
here? What am I
Yeah,
doing?
well, I don't know why you're here even. But
the palate though is sunflowers.
yeah,
Yeah.
No, I
That's
actually
crazy.
like this better than that.
yeah.
Well, but
Yeah.
it's weird because you get that first drink and it's like you've got a mouthful of sunflower seeds, like you're
Yeah.
at the ballpark.
But
And
this
I would
is harder
Or
to
driving
run.
here trying to stay awake.
This is harder to run in the winter time than it is in the summertime. We ferment in barrels, and so this is all and they're in much smaller quantities as well. So we're doing 250 gallons of mash spread over 5 barrels. And so when it's cold, then a lot of times it will take longer for those to ferment through. And as we found, it's very difficult to malt sunflowers when it's
actually easier in the winter with the sunflowers.
but the seed mats.
Yeah, yes.
Right. So we had to get special equipment to make sure that we could do that throughout the winter. And the stills run slower in the winter time. So and it's just cold as balls in there.
It is. It's either extremely cold in there or extremely hot. There's no.
Like, you give a shit. I mean,
Right.
you've been distilling forever in Indiana. This morning, I'm like driving through. I drive down southern Ohio. I'm looking at the temperature. It's 69, 70 degrees. I hit Louisville. It's 72, and then all of a sudden I drive here, and it's like 49. It went like from 72 to 49 on the way here. Now it's beautiful right now. It's a balmy. Is that 66,
But
66
here in the
degrees?
sun,
But
it's really nice.
it's nice. I mean, it's nice, but the difference is you're still in the cold part.
Yeah.
It's still cold here, and you guys get
It's
winter.
an odd year. It should have been a little warmer by now than what it is. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the nature of it. No, I figured you guys would like this better than you like the first one
I
because
like this.
it's interesting watching the tasting room and
It's
walking in there
the
and listening to
smoky
people.
mezcal flavor right
Yeah.
there on the top.
So most of the lake people, quote unquote, seem to really like the Newton Stewart, but then the people who actually are really into spirits, this is much more their thing. And so there are variations on this too. So there's Amburana versions of this as well. Not finished Amburana. It's actually matured, not even matured. It's soaked on Amburana for a
So
few
it just tastes like French toast.
with the roasted sunflowers. Yeah, absolutely.
It's got a toasted sunflower cinnamony note to it. I wouldn't say that it's like a whiskey that's been finished in an Amburana.
He liked Amburana
Oh,
for about 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden he got one that was so
Yeah.
Amburana.
It's too resinous.
It like has now made him like if there's a hint of it, it could be a whiskey that isn't even have any Amburana, but it's got a cinnamon note, and he's like I'm out.
But that's the thing, right? Because that Amburana can turn so acidic and almost to like an ammonia. There's a real fine line, and there are definitely some bourbons and whiskeys out there that are soaking it in there. They're all, I think,
It gets really resinous.
it gets too much. So
So we're on the last. This.
Yep.
This should be fun.
what are you doing?
I was moving for a minute because I can't. That's why.
Because you can move. I didn't do anything bad. I don't smell.
No, Alan just can't sit still.
I was having a moment.
It's all right.
Okay, so this. Thank you.
You good?
You all right? You
I'm
guys
good.
over there?
We're
You
good.
okay?
We're gonna hug it out next.
Okay.
I love you guys.
I know.
Seriously,
Don't be mad.
you're my family.
I gotta empty my glass.
Hey, anybody have any
to
leftover?
the next. We're on to
Okay.
the next.
So
Your low
I,
battery
my
on your
question is
Facebook
are afterwards you just gonna drink all that?
Why can't I put this in there too?
You can. You could just.
I don't listen. We don't
Joey,
judge
this
around
is what
here.
I love about you. You're willing to.
We don't judge.
To
Okay,
just
I don't judge how
push
people
the
want to
envelope.
drink. Why is putting stuff in my tea pushing the envelope? That's what I'd like to
That's
know.
what we do is push the envelope,
That
but respect the
is it a little
tradition.
too far?
Did it die?
Just a tip.
Just the tip.
My phone died.
Slow battery.
That's hit okay.
Says close.
Did you hit okay? Now it should go.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it, but it's probably a delayed.
Yeah, it should start back up
Well,
as
then
long
we
as.
should be quick about it. This is the 9-herb charm. Alan, tell us about it.
Yeah, so this has actually
Oh,
never
it's working.
existed before. This is a cordial that we created ourselves. So this is based on an old English
Wow, that's
pagan poem to Odin.
That's a shit ton
like
of
a
grass.
spearmint and pepper.
There's all kinds of stuff in here.
It's got a.
It's so good.
So
I
it's
feel like I want this on my
Lemongrass? Is
steak.
there lemongrass in there?
there might be. There's a
Maybe.
This,
bunch
you know
of
what this
stuff.
is? You're making me drink
It is.
essential oils.
It's making you drink something
There
that's
is.
like
It is like a
chartreuse.
lemongrass, like pepper.
So it's very much in the vein of like those alpine liqueurs like chartreuse and strega and things of that nature, but a little bit more Americanized. A lot of botanicals that I grew at the house and several that we ordered.
How do you?
Wow.
Now, see, the thing that intrigues
did that
me
get
is
so
that it's so
sweet?
different, right? It's something that's never been like
Sugar?
marketed.
That thing is.
Yeah.
like-
But how do you, Jolie?
That's-
How do you market it? I mean, you just give it to people and see what they do.
No,
I mean,
so,
did you make so much of it, or just did you do 375s and just make a small batch to whether you do it again? But could you
We'll
do it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
It'll be
can.
done.
You wrote it down
Yeah.
at least.
Oh yeah, I know exactly how to make this to a T. It's complicated to make this one in particular. So, but it's also meant to be used again as kind of a. You can use it as a digestif or an aperitif, but it's also great for mixing. So anywhere you could use
my God.
chartreuse, you could use this.
You know what that is? The perfect thing.
What's that?
You should sell it at all the Ryder lawnmower shops because this is perfect for cutting.
What is wrong with you?
For
Are
cutting,
you serious?
for cutting grass. I would drink this.
Sell
when
it at lawnmower
No,
shops?
no, the
because
Ryder
it
lawnmower
smells
shops.
like grass?
No, it is like the perfect. It reminds me of cutting my grass, like at a level
So,
of.
Look at her. Don't look at
Can
me.
I have?
don't
Can
wanna-
I?
Can I
Can you
change
gonna let me
What is
leave that?
happening?
Can I leave it with
Please.
that bottle and I'll shoot videos
So,
of me on my Ryder
realistically-
mower?
Save your friend.
Hey,
Realistically,
Julie,
it
can I have that
smells-
bottle? I will promote you guys while I'm on my Ryder lawnmower drinking this.
No.
Wait a minute.
Please, this is perfect. It's like I haven't.
So you
I
asked
have
me
a
how
John
to
Deere.
market it, and
John
then you
Deere
didn't let
should-
me answer. So
Okay.
here's what I have to say. In the tasting room, I asked people if they like tea. I have sold this to more women who like chamomile tea at the end of the day than I have men. This is great in a cocktail. We've made it with gin, fresh citrus, and an ounce of this into a cocktail. But I have sold
Proof?
so much of this than 59. And this will differ. This will be just like the flavored spirits that will differ in proof as we blend them. We're not a factory, and
Solo
so
cup.
So it changes.
yeah, it changes.
Solo
yeah.
cup on the
So
lawnmower.
this to
right
me,
there in the
it,
cup
it,
holder.
on the nose, very much
Crushed
Lipton
ice.
iced tea.
You got it.
The lemon Lipton. When you
Yeah.
buy it in
Oh,
the
it's so
bottle,
good.
Yeah.
It has that. So if
This
you,
is for your
have you
tractor.
done this?
I will do it.
Have
Oh,
you
okay.
done this in tea, just straight up?
I personally have
So,
not. No.
I think that would be
But yeah,
fantastic.
and-
in
No,
tea.
so
Let's put it in here. And
ask
find out.
ask your
We should definitely try
ask
that.
the women if they like tea, and then
Yeah,
ask the men if they like cutting grass.
We definitely. Well, I
This-
mean, don't
this
all
is a
men
tea
like cutting
mixer.
grass?
Yes,
Isn't
that's
that a whole thing.
Because if they like cutting, there's a whole God, son of a bitch! I'd almost all. God, I saved it.
And the sweetness, I think unsweet.
That's
tea,
how much
if you
I
just
like
mix
it.
in with unsweet tea,
Yeah.
it'd be fantastic.
I'm
It's really
happy.
great. It's
There's-
really
there's
great
a-
to
that-
drink
there's a
neat.
little of
No,
that sweet.
seriously.
It's great to
I'm-
drink up. It's great to drink on the rocks. It's good to add to things. Like it's so soft too because chartreuse is very like
And the-
smack you in your
Oh,
face and bright. And I've always the yellow chartreuse is a sweeter than the green chartreuse, and that green chartreuse has too much mint in it for me. This is, I feel like chartreuse, but taken down a couple of notches, and that to me makes it
The
to
other
be able to drink by itself.
The other fun thing with this, because you guys compared it to tea as well. So there's a flavor there that you guys are picking up on that you know, and you know extremely well. You just don't know what it is. So the main flavoring component of that is horehound.
Yeah.
So if you like horehound candy, then there
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You're the only person I've ever heard say that.
What, horehound?
Yeah,
I just
nobody.
like saying it. 'cause
I
then-
know it's yes, I do know this, but I will
Tour
tell
House
you,
candy has-
even the marketing aspect is genius. This will fit in the cup holder on your lawnmower. You just put it in there and you drive
Oh,
around.
in the lawnmower. Okay.
How long does it take you to cut your grass?
Yeah.
22 minutes, but I can drink half the bottle.
On the rider. On the rider.
You can
Maybe
get
we
timed.
should look up what John Deere is in French.
What? You
Called
got
that
20
John
acres?
Deere.
Yeah.
20 acres.
Well, then you could get through a bottle.
John Deere.
John Deere.
You need to just like fall off.
Okay, so
like,
what's the price on this, just for the fun of it?
$24.99.
I mean,
There's only one bottle down there.
well, no, there's one bottle right here, and she let me have it.
$24.99 is how much it is.
Plug-ins that you can pour it into and just fill the room. with-
The plug- no, but we sell the hats, so you can.
Yeah,
just
the
pour it
hats
in
with
and
the
then
two
it'll come
solo
in.
cups.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say for
Yeah,
Facebook,
they're
we are not condoning or advising people to drink and mow their lawn.
I feel like
just so
that
we-
should be obvious. to
Who
100%.
doesn't drink and mow their lawn? You mow your lawn, and you drink a beer.
not necessarily.
It's that-
See,
That's
don't
not
pretend
denying
like
it,
you're
is it?
somebody that you're not.
I don't always. I don't always.
We're not going into four-wheeler stores
Listen,
either.
I get pissed off when I mow and I have a beer on my cup holder because it ends up getting stuck on a tree branch and it yanks it out of the damn thing, and I get mad. So then I'm like, I'm not drinking and mowing again.
There you go.
So, but to a valid point though, I think is interesting too with all this stuff. So obviously, White Sunshine is a thing that didn't exist. We created a spirit category.
Mhm.
Didn't exist.
Are there rules for it?
It's distilled spirit specialty.
Can't make it, so it doesn't matter. Right? You
Right.
can use sunflowers. You can't make sunshine. But we also created a category with the 9 herb charm. It never existed. We literally took a poem from medieval times in England and turned it into a product.
The-
Beverage.
So at one point, it's just old homestead alchemy. You're just you guys are doing like you said, your distillery is set up. You were a part of it from this, and you put together your own. The stills were shipped here, made to specification, and put together by you in the different ways of putting. And you can take and if you want, and if you
by
want,
us.
yeah, by everybody. But you can take them apart and change
We
things
absolutely can.
Oh yeah, and we have
because you
already.
have that ability as a home distiller.
Yeah.
This is a bigger thing. But if you hit on something
Mhm.
that really everybody is
Resonates,
loving,
yeah.
one, you have a big enough pot still to start running way more than that. Once you're able to figure it out and go as you go down,
Now,
you'll be able to
Yeah.
supply what people want.
now on something like that though,
That's
Yeah.
it's always
materials.
going to be limited because
Right.
there's so many steps to it, and then also some of those steps involve the smallest still we have, which is 17 gallons.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I mean, this is really speaking to anybody else that makes botanical spirits. It's like single malt and botanicals are really the most expensive thing
Yeah.
Who
that
else?
you could do.
Who else-
Botanicals are
Who
so.
else makes botanical spirits?
well, absinthe or gin.
Yeah, absinthe,
Wait.
gin. But
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
besides this is neither.
Yeah.
no, but it is a botanical spirit, and there are, I think, almost 30 botanicals in that spirit.
So you have so it's not
So
it's more of a compliment of what you're doing here
Right.
to show, opposed to turning it into a mass production because
it's definitely
Mhm.
never going to be mass produced.
okay.
Nothing here will ever be mass produced. That's not what we want.
Well, the fun
That's
thing
not
is
how we imagined it. Yeah.
do it,
it's-
and then okay, let's try something different with it next time, and you'd be able to do what you want to do instead
Right.
of having to just
right.
always hit that same mark every time.
Well, I also think like quantity is different than mass produced, right? Like when I think about mass produced, I think about we went to Jim Beam on the Scotchy Bourbon Boy tour a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Hardest working still in Kentucky.
Oh.
That thing is gigantic, and it was amazing to see, and
Oh.
also sad at the same time
Whoa.
because just gallons and gallons and
It's
gallons.
like it was like a
whiskey
fire hose.
are just coming
I never
off
seen
of that.
any-
And
yeah.
and as somebody who works in a craft distillery with someone who is extremely passionate about what he's doing, and Tyler as well, to see that just coming in gallons and knowing like
It's just gonna be
It's
the
just-
same old thing.
yes,
Well,
and there's nothing
Alan-
like beautiful and special and meaningful about it, unlike this.
But
right?
but what led to that? Okay, what led to what Jim Beam is
Oh,
doing?
yeah.
But what led to it was the hardest thing to do in distilling for the longest time was to produce your brand consistently.
well, yeah.
So up until the 90s,
Nothing against any large distillery.
just-
I drink Jim
Yeah.
Beam. I drink
This-
like I am. I
Creative
like
thing.
all kinds of things.
right,
but,
right.
But right. But when we come,
not
and we
this.
talk about it's not this. It's not. There is a place for everything. I always say that. Like I drink a lot of whiskey, but a lot of I love red wine. It doesn't necessarily agree with me, but I'm not going to go out on a boat and drink a glass of Merlot. Right. You're going to drink something like this.
Oh,
And
you're
at the
gonna
end of the night, you're gonna drink, a whiskey.
What
You're
was
gonna
that
drink
one?
a digestif. You're gonna drink something.
Undrunken.
These
Drink.
spirits are made with love and heart and passion
Mm-hmm.
behind them, and I think to me that's different than something that just anyone
Well,
can go and purchase off.
and
of
you
a
can
Walmart
add one
shelf.
more thing: intelligence.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
one thing when you talk to Alan, there's a certain amount of passion but there's history. You've studied the history of where you live and where you grew up, but then the intelligence, you're smart when it comes to distilling, and also you read a lot about history and everything. So the intelligence aspect is there also. So, you know, it's not like somebody's just doing something and they're passionate. He does it specifically and with the knowledge that he brings up there. He's into the science, the biological, the whole, you know, terroir. Everything is put into it when with your spirits. There's always been that.
Well, the other interesting thing about this place is that
You're jealous.
it fits the market of what's happening right now too, as we go into whiskey in the future, and that you do have this constrictions of the market thing happening. So it used to be for a long time it was alcohol, and now it's much more this and alcohol. So this location fits that perfectly, right?
Yeah.
You want to do stuff with the family or just do fun things, you can do that. And there's also alcohol here, right?
Yeah.
But that gives us the levity to do some interesting experimental things, and we'll apply that to the actual whiskeys too. You know, using different yeast strains that we propagate ourselves and different methods of pot still distillation.
Also the vision behind this whole area though, right? Because we are connected to a hotel, and in between us is a restaurant and a 2-story place with places to, we've got a large walk-in humidor. We're working on a VIP room where you can smoke inside. There's a brewery, there's a winery, there's outside places everywhere you go.
What was it? Alcohol Acres?
Alcohol Acres. Yep.
Perfect.
Encompasses Potoka Lake Marina, Potoka Station, Benny's Off the Water, which is the restaurant right next door to Potoka Lake Winery. Potoka Lake Winery, Potoka Lake Brewing, Old Homestead Hotel, Distilling Company, and Finn's Off the Water.
And
it's basically everything on Dillard Road. We are here. We're making an area. 1 million people, according to the DNR, 1 million people drive down this road and go into Potoka Lake every season, every year. So why wouldn't we create something like this for people who are like-minded and enjoy a lot of the same things that we enjoy?
Well, we all know that boating people enjoy themselves, so it's a great place. Go out on the lake, enjoy yourself, come back afterwards, enjoy dinner, then go check out the winery, the brewery, or the distillery. Whatever's your passion, you've got it covered.
And then a hotel,
come on a Friday.
Yeah.
Leave on a Sunday, and then you could do it all again. Saturday morning, you go out on the lake.
You can stick your head into the distillery.
You should come up with the little flask kind of thing for all the fishermen. The toothache medicine. You should just call it toothache medicine, and then just they got that, and they can
Well, we got the adventure bottles that we're gonna have those, and they're plastic. So once they're empty, if you lose your fish,
but if you get one of the high end flask companies to come in and you just fill it up and then sell the flask and the whiskey right in there.
It's perfect because even if you don't have a boat, our marina is the only marina in the state of Indiana that has floating cabins and houseboats. The houseboats are perfect for, like, they sleep like 10, 12. They're perfect for multifamily. So you can come, you get your kids' kids, you all go in, you park on the lake. We've got tubes you can rent. It's one-stop shopping around here. And it's not a giant resort hotel where everything costs a ton of money.
We run out of space. We actually put people up at the boss's house sometimes.
That's right. Yeah, we do. Is true.
I'm sure.
It actually is true.
No, I could tell by their reaction. It's happened.
It says actually is true. Yeah.
They obviously have big
a lot
hearts.
of room for some campers.
I saw Steve over there going, "Don't forget about my shed. Tell them about the shed."
That's right. Yeah. I'm getting there. Yeah. There's just it's you
can stay in a silo.
And if you have your own boat with the floating cabins, they come with a place to hang out outside. They come with a boat slip either next to it or behind it. So it's literally,
party boats are awesome.
Yeah, we've got party barges that can fit 25 to 30 people.
Watched the fireworks in the lake last year. It was great.
Yeah. There's play tunes where it's a pontoon with a slide.
Right.
It can pull a tube.
Perfect.
It's perfect for families.
I agree.
Alcohol.
It's perfect for bourbon groups.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we need to rent one of those houseboats.
Really,
just all 10 of us in there floating around.
Okay, so here's my vision in 2 years: Scotchy Bourbon Boys Festival.
Oh dear God!
It might happen. I probably could bring a couple hundred people here.
I am not pulling him out of the lake. It ain't happening.
Anyways,
I'm gonna be sitting on a tube, just kind of floating around with a cigar, and he's gonna be.
There you go.
so
Like
where
Bob
did Randy go?
World's
He was supposed to bring over that rye.
largest
Oh,
group tire swing.
No, the Mount Vernon.
George Washington.
You got the George Washington?
Yeah.
World's largest group tire swing.
Oh,
Is he going to get? Did he go to get more glasses?
Oh, it's
No,
it's
we
an
got
actual.
more.
What year is
We
that?
well, see if you can find him. Where the heck did he go? I was
I
just.
think he took stuff away.
You want glasses?
This is.
He was
So I
taking the
distilled
German-
some of
he was
this.
Taking the German rye
This would
away.
have been made when me and Sean
The
Stevens
German
were out there.
But he thought that
Fresh
that's why he
glasses,
brought
yeah.
it. So you are part of that.
Thankfully.
Oh my God. So we gotta
Rinse
wait
your
till
glass out with a little
she's
bit of
getting
water.
them.
Oh, I rinsed
Glasses?
mine. I'm good.
We got glasses.
Oh, you're good.
Brandon, these are
I'm
nice.
good. I rinsed
Here you
mine
go.
out.
Look,
Pour him one, and when he comes, we'll
my
toast
sugar
and
lemon
finish.
I
water
bet this
tastes
9-year
delicious.
charm will be delicious in tea.
Hey,
Let's find out.
you know what I bet the gas station needs? We start doing. We
You
start
know what
doing
they
the.
call that? A hairy buffalo. You
Oh my
literally made
God,
a hairy
call it-
buffalo.
you're
I know,
gonna
but
call
it's
it-
a
are you
hairy
gonna call it
buffalo
the
with
gas
Alan
station
stuff, so I
mixer?
feel like we're in a good
No,
spot.
we need to do. We need to do the adventure
I'm not going to be
bottles.
drunk in a field off of
We'll get,
Goldschlagers later. You know
We'll get a
what I mean?
pool
Oh,
float
that-
you can put
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
a speedboat that's shaped like one of the
I
little
don't do
adventure bottles.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
We'll put Amzie on the pool float.
Hey, come up here. We're doing the rye. No, we got the Mount Vernon. Come on up. I don't want to miss
Here you
him.
go. Is this me?
He-
Wait a minute. You gave me a new one? Oh.
Yeah, there's a new glass.
I cleaned
You
that,
can't
man.
drink this stuff with a dirty
Damn.
9-year charm glass.
I washed it out with water.
So
I made both of them. I can.
She about
That
took the
almost was
table
really
with
bad.
her, literally.
just put it back. The bottle's gone.
Oh, you wanted it?
No.
She's
He's
about
gonna
to get
come.
in.
Make sure he gets his.
What
We
are
need to.
you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Here, take
I
this.
thought you wanted
Take
this
this, right,
bottle. Are you talking about it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Come on, Randy.
Randy
So
is not here.
we just poured. There's your pour.
Oh, I'm good.
No,
that's
you don't
my
wanna
bar.
pour this?
That bar's for Randy.
I've got another glass down here.
Okay, come talk about. So Alan looked at the bottle, and he
Here you go,
actually.
Randy. You take my spot. You're gonna talk about this? Here you go, bud.
Randy is going to be in charge of our international bourbon whiskey, not international whiskeys when we do it. So when we do a section, he's Israeli. He's got a German rye. He's got a bunch of different things. But he had this bottle from his son, and he was able to pick it up. But Alan said he looked at the bottle and.
By the date, that was Sean Stevens and I were out there whenever that would have been distilled for sure.
Okay.
So I can't take credit for any of that. That's Steve
That's
Bayshore and his team.
Yeah, I know Carl Huber's been out there to help him a couple of
Ted,
times
yeah,
too. So
yeah.
several of the premier distillers around the country they bring in. This is actually the only quote legal wood-fired still in the country.
Mhm.
Not that those of us from the
But it-
Ozarks and the Smokies haven't seen wood-fired stills before. This is the only legal.
But Alan will attest to how much work
Oh, it's a lot.
that all those that at the George Washington distillery, it would have been the slaves had to put in to create these ryes. I mean, and then the coolest part is that grinding stone is still the grinding stone that George Washington would have used to grind that grain, right?
You'd have to ask Steve Bayshore on that. I don't know for sure the details of the mill because the mill's been rebuilt too. But yeah, Steve runs a really tight team, a really talented team. He does invite in a lot of guest distillers.
It's okay.
He's got the
It probably
podcast
died.
here.
It's dead.
He brings in a lot of talented distillers from
This
all
is
over the
working.
country, and I consider it like the I don't know, if you're an American distiller, you should want to go there, and you should
That's
want to
your
work your
history.
hardest to get there.
But even if you're an American whiskey connoisseur,
Mhm.
it's like it's a bucket list.
Yeah.
What Steve does there is you just watch the posts between when you're there,
Yeah.
when he's even the labeling, the
The hand
hand
labeling and hand
detail that
writing,
he
yeah.
puts into it. He just shows you what from
That's
start
his
to
handwriting
right
on the bottle. He
from-
does all that
from
yeah.
start to
The-
finish. Steve
all
is
back here on the
attention to
back.
detail, like because it's George Washington.
Yeah.
He's got the strains, the rye strains, and he's got everything to be as close as it possibly can in this day and age and he's producing it where George Washington did
Where he
produce
did
it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well,
One
so the
thing that's-
distillery is built on the footprint of the original distillery. You were right there where it was at. You're running wood-fired pot stills. Each and every one of them has its own characteristics. They're not even all the same size. It takes a tremendous amount of wood and a tremendous amount of cutting wood every year and chopping wood every year. And it's always like a reset. So me and Eric Wolf and Aiden Pemberton in particular, we go out there together a lot. And it's always a nice little reset, but I call it the tomb. And the reason I call it that is because you go in and that place is a charged atmosphere. And when you come back out of it, you're not the same. And a lot of times, to be honest with you guys, it's such hard work. And I don't know how those guys, they do it for a month at a time, twice a year. And you're breathing in wood smoke constantly. When you come out of there and you're done, you're a different person. And almost always you end up, me and Eric and Aiden every year, both times we go, get sick. It's just the nature of it. You get wore down. And those guys too, I'll tell you, when they're doing a spirit run, a double pot still run, their doubling run sometimes on those stills will take 14, 15, 16 hours. Sometimes we go in there, we get there at 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't get out of there until 11:30, 12 o'clock. I mean, it drags on forever, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't make any money going there. I don't need to make any money. I don't want to make any money going there.
One thing that's really interesting about it, though, this is their premium. They've got two different ones. This one's a premium. It's aged, this particular bottle, 5 years and 8 months, almost 6 years. Their other one's about half that. But when George Washington was doing this, they would distill it in the morning and it would be in the market in DC in the evening. And they did not age stuff back then.
They also did
clear whiskey.
They also did different grades in Washington's time too. So there'd be 1 pass, there'd be 2 pass, there'd be 3 pass, there'd be 4 pass. And the premium that you're paying for was how many times it went through the still. But this last year, so we did our the very first American whiskey. Steve Bayshore invited me to design the mash bill for the first George Washington American whiskey. So we laid that down, and we also did some really nice apple brandy, both last spring and this spring.
I will say, if there's anybody who ever needs apple brandy at a distillery and they want the expert in it, it's you.
Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else. I was going to just plug my ear and
no. I mean, Alan. So Indiana was known, for their apple brandy, and that's something that you've done forever.
Absolutely.
And you've done fantastic at your former places, and I'm sure you've been laying down that now. And there's no doubt that you understand apple brandy, but it's not like no other apple brandy that I've ever tasted.
It's a very much bigger, bolder apple brandy for sure. We haven't started laying down apple brandy here yet, but we will at some point. That's definitely on the radar.
I just drank some apple brandy in Ohio, and we were talking about it, and the guy who's distilling it, he was like, "What's your honest opinion?" I go, "Well, it's very ethanol forward."
Right. And some of those are.
I've had your apple brandies, and I'm like, your apple brandy is not. It's got apple. It's like,
and then you put it in a barrel, and it just turns. I mean, it's like apple whiskey.
It's what's the one that we got though? That one aged one that is so good. That apple
Palindrome.
brandy. Yeah.
Oh, the palindrome. Yeah, the smoke.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was
that was apple level. Brandy times 10.
The label on the bottle sucked, but
well, Jolie wasn't involved in that one,
so Jolie, you do all the labels here.
You take this spot. You talk to him for a little bit because it's your turn. Your turn to go into the mic.
Jolie's back. Where'd she go?
So at your former place, you did it. It was fantastic, and the labels are fantastic here.
Thanks.
But it seems like you're up for a challenge of lots and lots of labels going forward, because he's got so much. I mean, in the how do you go about it? Because I've been through the label, the TTB label process, and it's not fun. But you have friends there.
No.
You should.
No.
You absolutely
I do not
should.
have friends at the TTB.
No, you should.
I actually withdrew one of my recipes this last couple of months because they told me it was on the Sunshine Spirits root beer label, and which is a distilled spirit specialty, and only people who do labels will know what I'm talking about. They told me I had to remove my statement of composition from my label which legally you need to have on your label of a distilled spirit specialty in order for it to go forward.
So in other words, they told
So
you
they-
to do something wrong.
Yeah, and so I
Wait.
just was like, okay, so I withdrew it and resubmitted it, and it got passed
Is it
because you're dealing with people who don't know, like
Law.
they don't know their own laws.
We're out. Okay, so he's in. So do we have questions? Do you going to answer? Do you have any questions for us?
No, I do not.
Okay. So what?
Hey, talked. He talked.
So
Just really quick, let me finish about the labels. So all of the new stuff will be coming out. So this is the Black Forest Spirits label, and that is kind of going to encompass our new sort of. We're referring to them as one-offs, even though they're not. But so the peach is underneath that, the apple is underneath that, the Nine Herb Charm. So anything that we're testing out to see, will they like that? Will they not like that?
So you have to change the plant
Yeah.
and that, but everything else stays
But everything
the same.
else stays the same until like the Nine Herb Charm will probably next year have its own label and its own bottle.
Okay.
These little 375, we're calling them the squatty bottles. Sort of it's the tester, right? Oliver Winery is great at this. They have their tasting room bottles where they taste test with their tasting room public what goes well and what doesn't before you decide what becomes an actual product. And so this is a great way for us to do that within our own tasting room before we take something to, if we decide to start producing it on a, seasonal basis or something like that. The Nine Herb Charm is crafted on a much smaller scale, as Alan said. It's run on a 17-gallon pot still, right? So, it's
It's the Overholt rye.
yeah.
Not the Overholt, but I mean the Mount Vernon rye. Sorry.
So again, I'm working with Jeremiah Peterson, who is the same artist that I was working with on all of the on all of those other labels. And so we're back at it. We just make a great team. It's hand drawn. So I am a firm believer. I know that I've had back and forths with certain bourbon critics who says that labels don't matter. I love you, sir. I respect you. But I really do believe that you have to have a label that someone goes, oh, what? And they pick it up. Once a customer picks up a bottle, they are 50% times more likely to purchase it because they've interacted with it.
That's like saying master distillers don't matter because labels matter. The master distillers do, in the fact that if people get to meet the person making the whiskey, when they go to the store, they remember that person.
Sure.
So then they buy. So there's 50,000 different choices. When I first started going, it was like going to a place and you didn't have any clue what was on the shelf except for what you knew. Now it's boring to me. Yeah. So if I'm going to buy something, I want something that I know who made it because I recognize it. I'm like, oh, it's a new thing there. The label's cool. And then you're going to buy it. And those are all different things that lead to the purchase because there's a lot of people, they get sick of Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. They want to go. Well, now it's whether they met the guy at the store while they were going for their Jim Beam.
I would argue too that that's part of the saturation of the whiskey market too, because Alan and I talk about this. 30 years ago, no one gave a shit who made their whiskey. And so it's kind of weird coming from the back end of things that all of these people want to know who is making what's in the bottle. And so that's weird for Alan, but on your hand, talking about it from a customer's and an enthusiast standpoint, it makes a really big difference, right?
Booker, when he went around and did boots out, you met Booker. No, you're going to buy the Bookers. You're going to buy that because he went around and did it. And
so in a market that is completely saturated with, and now especially that is saturated with picks and sourced and source whiskey. And so you're like, oh, this is a really cool label. And as soon as you pick it up and it says distilled in Lawrenceburg, you know, is this 95.5 that also has this label, this label, this label, and this label? And nothing against 95.5, but there is an oversaturation of the same product everywhere.
You have to have a really good palate and understand what you're buying to get a 95.5. It's like, but if you're just buying random barrels of 95.5, which they sell to everybody,
right,
and you don't have the ability to pick out whatever, it's gonna be not great.
And so the label game has to be on point, right? So people are, and you'll see a lot of that, right? You'll see a lot of great labels where you pick it up and you're like, oh, this is the
Anybody
same.
who says label is not a big part of it is because they don't have a good label.
But once again, I'm on board. I want it all.
I agree.
I want good whiskey. I want a good label. I want good packaging. I want to know the person who made it. That's kind of the whiskey connoisseur
And
these
Jeff,
days.
To speak to the people that make it as well. So this is also where Tyler they can hear me. He would have told me otherwise. This is also where it'd be good asking Tyler some questions about that too, because that's one reason he got hired here is because he's passionate about it, because he'll talk to people about it in the same way that I will. He's not used to doing it, so I'm putting him on the spot, which is worthwhile.
Well, getting
it's on the job training,
right? If you get your, not only you got to get your name and your face out there, and then if you're talking to somebody and they taste it, now you have a personal experience. So when you go to purchase something and you're looking at all the different stuff, you're like, oh, I like that guy. He kind of taught me something. And then they pick out the bottle, because there's so many things that you're there where you're like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Oh, I know about that because he told me about that.
Well, that's why we chose those bottles. No one has those bottles, right?
Well, the only place I've seen have that bottle is a wine, the
German beer
in
that Groats. Remember that?
Tennessee.
Flip up
We
the
were
cap
down there, and they make like a cream liqueur wine.
Yeah.
And it's got a horse on it.
I love it.
Okay.
Similar bottle, but we bought 6 of them.
Sure.
How much?
I didn't drink one of them.
How much more expensive is that?
It's so cool.
Than a cork.
Oh, I wouldn't say that the price, I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but I wouldn't say that that's really the deterrent. Honestly, the deterrent is putting them all on by hand, because we are bottling by hand, right?
Labeling.
There was a team of 6 of us, 7 of us.
I suppose if you screw up, then the liquid goes out of it.
Well, you can't put it on, but yeah, I mean, it does take a minute, right? It's like a little puzzle.
Cork,
you're like,
going
in which
like
end
this,
do you put
right?
it on?
You just go like that consistently, whereas that has
but it's still for what you're.
But you know, one thing that's interesting, this concept that we're talking about, the whole package, is not just whiskey. The book industry has been doing this for years,
right?
With book signings, book covers, good content,
size. All of
that
too
has been in the book industry for years.
Yeah.
And now you can just, if you grab a bottle of this while you read your book, it's even that much better.
Yeah. There is that, right? You don't judge a book by its cover, whatever that could be, don't judge a whiskey by its label. I get that, but I still firmly believe that the package should be top to bottom pristine. If it's again, this is the same thing that I said, working with Alan previously. Alan doesn't make modern spirits. So I don't think that a modern packaging works well with what we're putting forward. Yeah. And the packaging, to me, needs to match what's inside the bottle. And
that's 90% of all whiskey is not modern packaging. I mean, look at Booker's. I mean, it's a wood box and it's like it's wax. I agree. All historical ways of doing different things. Putting the mark.
You have to set yourself apart, right?
Right.
I mean, you have to be unique.
But there's no. It's the right fit.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. Tyler does most of the Sunshine Spirits. So Tyler is in charge of the
So what do you think? What do you think of sunflowers now after being in charge of sunflower spirits? Have you had enough of sunflowers?
Never enough.
That's awesome.
Never,
awesome answer.
We're due to start another round of mull.
So do you
Monday, actually, Alan will have to do that because I won't be here.
So what you should do is set up. You should set up a certain amount of since you got the sunshine, you should take a certain amount, roast them, salt them, and sell them as sunflower seeds in the gift shop.
Well, we've talked about that. We have.
I'd be buying that. That's how I stay away.
But it's a really labor intensive, and so to do it just to like give someone a snack, it seems a little not
He got so excited about his new job. You should ask him. He's got an announcement to make. Like as soon as he got his new job,
He got a
next
tattoo.
thing-
Did he get a tattoo?
No,
What's
I'm having a child tomorrow.
Oh,
A son.
Wait. So you got this job 9 months ago, and you went home to
Roughly.
celebrate? Okay.
Actually, I think the last day of my old job is the day that we found out that she was pregnant. Actually, the same day.
We're gonna call the baby AKA Little Sunshine.
Little sunshine.
that is not the name that Tyler and I discussed.
I know. Little baby Sunshine.
what's the name you discussed?
It's not appropriate.
We definitely can't say it out loud.
All
I was
right.
not allowed to name him Gator either.
No gator, huh?
I tried really hard for Amos Moses. What I was going for.
You should. It should be Swamp Gator.
Oliver Edward Allen.
Oliver Edward.
Two middle names.
There you go.
Nice.
And Alan's after the grandfather, by the way, not after the alchemist.
And my middle name is Allen.
There you go. And you're
Yeah, but you're.
But you can also be
But you
no.
just.
Why do you say that?
Wait.
No.
Wait.
Just
Wait.
just about
No.
a Jolie.
Just so you know, I don't know. I don't care what. That's all you got to look at. It's when it happens, and that's just what's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. There's no way out of it. If you don't want that to happen, just change it now.
You just ask him what it's like working for me. I mean, if Jolie wants to have a shot and be like, "Hey, Tyler, you can say something now. I can pay you like $20."
Yeah.
You know?
I'll give you $20. What do you have to say about Alan?
It's terrific work.
Oh my fucking
I mean, you're working at a
We have a
guy.
great time.
No, I cheered.
Every day is fun.
Yep, same.
Same.
Same. I love it.
I love it. It's the best, you guys. Amazing.
He just spent his Christmas bonus paying you guys off.
All right,
I
guys.
really do love it. I'm
Yeah.
very lucky to get to learn under Allen.
That's
I agree.
I agree with that.
We're envious. I would love to be
We have a
your
good
age
team.
again and working under Alan. There's no doubt because he knows. He know.
Priceless experience for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's learned
I could put a price on it.
with the grit, and he's learned everything. Yeah, of course you could.
She already is.
No, Alan's come through.
There's a new Dollar General in town.
Tell her, Jeff. Tell her.
He's-
Tell her how great I am. Tell her, Jeff. Tell her. Look right at her and say it.
Do you
Alan's
really
great.
think that she's gonna believe me?
No.
Listen, all
It
I have
doesn't
to
matter
say
what I
is-
believe. It's
Hold on. I have spent the
Remember those
last
variables.
6 freaking months
Yeah, right.
putting in like 60 herb freaking absinthe recipes into the TTB, which likes to shut down like halfway through the process.
Okay.
And so I appreciate the fact that everyone loves Alan. I really do, even Tyler,
You're
because
s-
I also love Alan.
you do because
but nobody,
obviously.
nobody
Blood pressure.
has.
Look her face.
I love you, Jolie.
No, thank you.
Look her face.
No
This is
one
taking
has
something.
the view or the dealings with Mr. Bishop that I do, save from Kim.
All I can tell you
Kim.
about this commentary, this commentary. She's. I mean, you have to actually love him because your out was there, and you didn't take it. You actually did
I was
everything.
like, hey,
You did
let's do
everything.
this.
You actually did everything you possibly could to get back, because there's.
Idiots.
stupid. No.
So, anyways,
We
all
have
right.
we have a great team. We all work well together.
So it's
It is 100% a
well, that's wonderful, and that's one thing that Alan did express when he was coming here. The difference and everything. He definitely felt this is where he wanted to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's expressed that to me many times, and
I
it-
think he
remember
expressed
that.
many times that he wanted to be around Jolie.
You don't get to choose family,
We're
Jolie.
as functional as they
He's-
come.
That's
Well,
right.
who-
I
He
am
said
always.
Jolie is.
she's.
I can't be anywhere.
I am
without Jolie.
always referring to us as the island of misfit toys.
But that's my. But I work at a recycling plant. I'm the plant manager for my cousin, and It's the same damn
It's
thing.
the same damn thing.
You're
Yeah.
basically getting people are inherently broken, and you basically have to produce a
collect them.
product And if you can every day come in and get everybody on the right page,
Yeah.
produce the product, and nobody gets hurt,
That's right.
Alan doesn't blow anybody up, then
That's a bonus.
then you're successful when you go home. And that's just the way it is with me. I call us the same thing. I have to go in as a manager. There's one guy who got married and now he's getting divorced. And then there's one guy, you know, when he's getting married, you're going, man, you only knew her for 6 months. It's like, why are you getting married? And then all of a sudden he's getting divorced after the Super Bowl. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? But you got to get him to work. And it's, I'm sure, but is he like heaven? He comes
He's
in.
awesome. I don't have to tell him anything.
Is it almost too much?
No.
All right.
He
High
doesn't
five,
talk.
man. So you got to talk more. So that's what you
the
got
same
out of this
thing,
whole
like,
podcast.
He's his guy.
No, he just said
Tyler doesn't talk, he sings.
But listen,
Super fermentations.
AC/DC.
Yeah, no.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Did you see my podcast last night? I was wearing like the AC. I lost a little bit of weight, so I fitted in my AC/DC shirt of like 20 years ago. I was like,
It's amazing feeling.
we're gonna see them in Cleveland. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up, and then we can get whatever. But let's go. Yeah, let's. You think? All right, everybody.
Hey, I got this. OldHomesteadDC.com, also thealchemistcabinet.com, and ScrewJoeLee.com.
And
hey, brother, do not search that.
One.
No, it's actually only feet.
And then. Oh my God. Okay, and One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute that Alan runs. Where did he go?
Yep.
And then also,
PotokaLakeMarina.com.
Is this place haunted?
PotokaLakeBrewing.com.
Is
Old
it
Homestead.
gonna-
No, Alan is haunted.
but if you have ghosts, you have everything for Alan Bishop. Check that out on Spotify.
PotokaLakeWinery.com.
And then www.scotchybourbonboys.com.
www.scotchybourbonboys.com.
And then-
PotokaLake.com. I don't know if it's
Facebook,
.com.
Instagram, YouTube, X, Apple, iHeart, and Spotify. No matter how you listen or watch, make sure you like, listen, comment, subscribe, and leave good feedback. And then also remember, good
Jolie
bourbon.
loves emails about me and how great I am. Don't forget.
Yes, Jolie loves good. And then make sure you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And
and Alan Bishop Day. Don't forget that. That's coming up in October.
Cut.
and then
Alan Bishop Day.
live your life uncut and unfiltered. All right, everybody, we're out. Okay, does that work? All right.
So when's your birthday?
Stop.
February.
Why is Alan Bishop Day in October?
She made
That's a
it.
great fucking. I didn't make shit.
You made Alan Bishop Day.
Another podcaster started that.
I didn't make it.
Mess with me and I
Alan,
turned it
Steve
around.
Akeley made it.
So
Really?
now we just claim it.
See,
Jolie's
see,
actually
did you hear what he
the
said?
head Of
He
International
referred
Alan
to him
Bishop
as
Day. She's the head of
another
the board.
podcaster.
Oh, I know.
Jolie, I want to
Because-
get one of these.
So,
My wife,
Jolie-
you got one
Okay,
downstairs,
Because
right?
earlier,
Do you see eventually sponsorship?
yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she
Because
loves
I will definitely want.
We have a $6 million loan we have to pay off.
No. I said eventually. I know you're not there yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Do I have my phone or do I have somebody else's phone? I got somebody else's phone. on my
Yeah,
phone.
because you're gonna if you wait too long, Jolie, you'll have to like take another $1 million loan.
Who's this?
I hope that is the case, my friend. I hope that is the case.
You can take Jeff.
So these-
When we go downstairs, I'll
Have
pack you
one?
guys up a gift basket.
Did you just
to go.
say-
Yeah.
Whose is this?
Yeah.
Are we?
Picture of
That's
Did you
mine.
talk to them? Have
Yeah.
you
Because
been
I stuck it
texting
in my
them?
pocket and then
Oh,
I
yeah,
mine's
you're
sitting
okay.
right there. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Live still on YouTube, by the way.
Yep, we're still live on YouTube. Who said that?
My wife.
Yeah, because Kim is smart and
Thanks,
she
Kim.
knows. That's why I said pray for Kim.
This guy.
I love you, Kim.
On YouTube. Don't worry, I know.
All right, thanks on YouTube.
All right.